Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Allie, and today's video is one where I explore one author again. It's been a minute since I've done a video like this, but today I get to go see and meet Kylie Lee Baker. So I want to take you guys along with me and read some of her books. She is currently on tour for Japanese Gothic, and I have heard nothing but good things about this book so far, so I'm going to be starting it. My library app has the audiobook, so I'm going to be reading that today on the way. This is actually the Aardvark special edition. How stunning is this? Even the back. Ah, so good. I do have to be rather quick about this intro because I have to hit the road. I have to travel like 2 hours and 40 minutes-ish to get to this event, and it's a new one. It's hosted by another small local bookstore just outside of St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm really excited, but I'm nervous. It's at a library, and I'm going solo, and it's my first solo trip in a while, so wish me luck. I can do this. But anyways, I'm so excited to meet her. I read not only Bat Eater and Other Names for Cora Zing last year. Absolutely loved it. This is another Aardvark edition. But I also picked up One Bad Night from Aardvark. And she has a short story in this called, I think, Jawbone, Lady Jawbone. So good. So I'm gonna see if I can get her to sign this as well. And of course, if you're new here, you don't know, I like to make little movie and book earrings. So I did make me a pair of Japanese Gothic, and I also made Kylie a pair. So yeah, I'm so excited to hear her talk about this book and just to meet her. This is my first author event this year, which is wild. I wanted to go to so many more this year, and it just has not been working out schedule-wise, but I'm hoping I can change that and start going to some more. But anyways, yeah, this is the look. I am gonna go throw my jeans on, but I'm just kind of wearing like a crop top and then this lace top. I haven't paired this together before, but I really like this vibe a lot. And it's been so warm out that it's like perfect weather for it now. Yeah, you guys will see the photos of the outfit before I run out the door. So yeah, let's get to it. In this lyrical, wildly inventive horror novel interwoven with Japanese mythology, two people living centuries apart discover a door between their worlds. October 2026, Lee Turner doesn't remember how or why he killed his college roommate. The details are blurred and bloody. All he knows is he has to flee New York and go to the one place that might offer refuge: his father's new home in Japan, a house hidden by sword ferns and wild ginger. But something is terribly wrong with the house. No animals will come near it, the bedroom window isn't always a window, and a woman with a sword appears in the yard when night falls. October 1877, Sen is a young samurai in exile, hiding from the imperial soldiers in a house behind the sword ferns. A monster came home from war wearing her father's face, but Sen would do anything to please him, even turn her sword on her own mother. She knows that soldiers will soon slaughter her whole family when she sees a terrible omen, a young foreign man who appears outside her window. One of these people is a ghost, and one of these stories is a lie. Something is hiding beneath the house of sword ferns, and Lee and Sen will soon wish they'd never unburied it.
Such an awkward angle. I honestly kind of hate filming it here versus our other car that I used to drive all the time. Oh my gosh, you guys, I just got out of the Kylie Lee Baker thing, close to like an hour and a half-ish ago. Oh my gosh, it was so good though. Sorry. My phone's also way down because I was responsible and I brought my, external like battery charger because I still don't have a cord in my car and I don't know why. Anyways, I stopped at Burger King. This is taking me back to when I came to see Rachel Harrison because I stopped on the way home at the same Burger King, and honestly, I think the same thing happened to me again. I was like, I would do anything for a Whopper Jr. right now. And I'm like, I just want to treat myself because it's been a long day. Sorry, I hate hearing people chew, so I'll try to be quick. But anyways, I realized right before I got to this location that this one was closed. Like, Siri was telling me that it was closed, and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, I just want a Whopper right now. And then I was like, whatever, there's a Taco Bell. I'm sure that they're open until, like, 2 a.m. I pulled up, there's people in the Burger King drive-thru, and I was like, oh, hell yeah. So, long story short, I got my Burger King. I have to say, the event was so good. Kylie Lee Baker is honestly very well-spoken, and just hearing her talk and gush about, like, horror and her love for it and her books and stuff is just so much fun. I feel like my memory's been so bad that I feel like there's so much I'm going to forget. She did mention, like, The Grudge being one of her early childhood horror movies that she watched, and how she wanted to make a haunted Japanese, like a haunted house Japanese story, and instead of, like, this white person that goes, and is haunted by, like, these Japanese ghosts, and they're the bad ones or whatever, kind of turn it around and be like, here is a maybe not problematic, but like troubled white person who has done some shit, and we're going to now take it out on him. So kind of like flipping it a little bit, making it probably a lot more accurate. Yeah, so she talked about that. I thought it was really cool that she talked about, I mentioned at the beginning of this that I was wondering if there was going to be kind of like some type of romance between these two characters once they like meet, and she shut it down very quickly. She was like, and this is so bad about me because I'm mentioning it because I'm staying true and authentic, that I did mention it at the beginning of the video, and she was like, I know everybody thinks that there's a man and a woman in a book, they have to have some type of romance, and I will say it's not that I expected it, I just wondered, but I guess that's part of the problem too. But anyways, she was like, I'm not gonna lie, she was like, at the beginning when I was writing this, she said I had it in mind for them to be romantically involved, and she was like, but once I started writing the characters, I was like, nope, this isn't gonna work. They have to be just buddies, besties, if you will. So no romance with this one. I mean, besides that, she just said that she wanted to write something that has more Japanese mythology and have like a fun time with it. She loves writing horror. She did also tease her upcoming book. I forgot the title already. It is up on Goodreads, so you can check it out there already. But it's coming out with not only another horror novel next year, but she's also contracted for another YA fantasy. So those are the two that she writes a lot. They both sound really, really interesting. She said that the next horror one is going to be 3 POVs. Her past ones have always just been like the main character, and then with this one, Japanese Gothic, she has 2 POVs, but there's also like a 3rd POV that's kind of like apparently folklore, the mythology, like the stories behind some of it that are supposed to be, supposed to like intertwine the story. She was like, we'll give you a warning, it's going to throw you off because you're jumping to the first one and they're just talking about turtles, and you're going to be like, why all the talks about turtles? Honestly, I was so giddy, I was kicking my feet because I was like, I love turtles. You know that meme, I like turtles? That's me. I love turtles. So I was like, say less. She was like, I promise, it like comes and play into the story. She was like, you just gotta trust it. Anyways, I am excited. I'm already, I think, like 6 chapters in, and we've kind of just had the setup of the synopsis of meeting these 2 characters and different timelines, and I just left off where they had their first like sort of encounter, and it's just been really cool so far. Lee is very weird. He's a very odd character. And she mentioned this. She was like, I wanted him to be a weirdo. And he is. And she was like, I think that's why the romance wouldn't work, because he's just fucking weird. But she says in her head she sees him as Timothy Chalamet. So that's how I've been picturing him. And he's just a weirdo. And then Sin's story, she's very bold and brave, and we're also getting the backstory of her and her family, and it's so sad. Like, her parents are very different. They don't really get along, and he's a samurai, and he wants his kids to be a samurai. And he's kind of like hiding out from their like government or whatever because he ran off from like his duty and stuff. And he's like, I'm still a samurai and I'm going to raise samurais. And the mother is then like putting pressure on Sin because she wants her to be lady enough to like find a husband and get married and stuff like that. So it's just like such a sad situation for her. But like the lengths that her father goes through to make her strong and confident and a samurai is so sad. And just other family elements that I don't want to give away that are just really sad that have happened. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, her story is so deep and just, oh. Anyways, I've been listening to the audiobook and really liking it. Guys, I'm so hungry. I am so sorry. Also need to take ibuprofen. God, I say this every time. I'm so old. Used to just be concerts that like I would have a massive migraine afterwards, but like now it's book events, it's everything I travel for. And I think I figured it out. I have gotten a lot more confident as far as like my driving, and especially to like big places like this. Like, you know, St. Louis is one of the biggest places in Missouri and where I'm from, and it's 2.5 hours from me. This one's like on the book event tonight was like on the outskirts of St. Louis in a smaller town, at their like local library, which was so nice, and just the setup was very intimate and just really sweet. But I still have to hit those big highway lanes where it's just like multiple lanes and there's always road work. There's always road work. And you just feel so narrow and just squished. But I will say my anxiety and everything has just gotten so much better. I've been kind of like on a health journey, but more so like I've been taking supplements for leveling out like my hormones, and this is TMI, but leveling out like my hormones. And go there with the TMI, it's like ovarian support for PCOS. And since I've leveled it out the past like 2 months, I've seen, oh my God, a world of a difference. Not only in my PCOS issues that I have, but also like my mental health, my anxiety, depression, all of that. Oh my God, that I haven't done a book event or traveled in so long, and today was actually like so smooth, like just so smooth. But I still find myself when I drive, when I'm on those lanes, I'm like gripping the steering wheel and like I clench a lot with my jaw, and the way that I sit, I'm so stiff. I'm like, I don't know how truck drivers do it. Like, I don't know how you drive all day long. Like, I am in so much pain, and I keep catching myself, and then I'll relax. But then I do it again. It's just like out of habit. It's so bad that I think that's what's giving me migraines, because by the time the book thing is over and I get back in the car, I have a migraine from earlier doing that. Also, play doesn't help that I haven't ate in 10 hours. So there's also that. Yeah, besides that, Kylie was so freaking nice. I did give her earrings and she was like, that's so thoughtful, thank you. And she actually held them up for our photo, which we got to have photos together, which was so nice. I feel like, I don't want to drop this. I feel like my recent book ones that I've went to, or book events, not that I've went to a lot lately, but they're usually like, recently at least, have been like really quick and like rushed, and like they sign your book and then that's it, and then you leave, and they're like, sometimes they're like, we'll take pictures while they're signing, but like sometimes they don't even do that. And like this was just very nice. It was a different bookstore that hosted it, and I don't know, just everything about it was just really nice. It just didn't feel as like stressful, I feel like, as some other ones that I've went to, but some of the other ones just have bigger venues too, and that's just always so stressful. But I'm proud of myself. I really powered through, and I honestly didn't feel like too uncomfortable. And I am mad at myself because I did think of a question during the Q&A, and I just waited too late to raise my hand, because then by the time I had thought about one, everybody kept raising their hands, and then they had to like cut it a little short. So It is what it is, but the confidence was there. I was going to raise my hand. I also talked to the people sitting next to me, which is saying a lot for my social anxiety I've had in the past. I asked them if the seat was taken, and then I sat down and, I feel like we exchanged a little bit of, small talk, not really anything like too deep, but, she had the Bat Eater, as an Evernight edition, which is so stunning. And then, yeah, I got my book signed and I met Kylie and it was just so sweet. I did buy 2 of her, because I told you guys I wanted to support the local bookstore that hosted it. It's going to be too hard for me to get it all out. I'll have to show you guys tomorrow. Or I'll take photos or something of them. But I got my Aardvark, One Bad Night. It's a short story collection. I got her story and that signed. I told her, I was like, I went to get all the authors to sign this. I got to catch them all. And then I got my Bat Eater from Aardvark signed. My Japanese Gothic from Everend. Did I say Everend? I meant Aardvark. From Aardvark signed. Although it was already signed. I'm not even sure, like, they were flipping the pages really weird in my books, like giving me the post-it notes. And I was like, no, I want this signed. I want this signed. And that was kind of weird. But we ended up getting it figured out. The lady did take pictures just while we were talking. And then we actually got to have like a photo at the end after I gave her the earrings and she held them up. And I got those 3. Oh, and then I got 2 of her YA. She has 2 YA fantasy duologies. I got book 1 in each of them. I'm going to try them out for this vlog, but I got them signed. And I supported the local bookstore by doing so. I will say, I wrote her a little message on the back of the earrings, like the little cardboard that they were like in, or like little tag that I put them in. And I just put like, thank you for your books, for helping me like escape reality or sometimes confront it. And it was so weird because then I wrote that at home earlier today. And while she was talking, they had asked her a question about like why horror. And she literally went into like how it's like cathartic to like write it, and how like sometimes horror makes us face our fears, and how also like sometimes horror's nice to like escape, but like more so she was talking about confronting it, and she kept saying confronting it. And like she's like, I like to write these horrors that we have to confront, that we should be confronting, and putting them in there and making people feel uneasy and stuff. And I was like, that's so weird that I wrote that. And I did mention that to her. I was like, it's so funny that you talked about that, because I feel that with your books. And I hope I wasn't too awkward. She was so sweet. And oh my God, stunning. She is so gorgeous. Anyways, I need to eat and get back on the road. So that's what I'm going to do. I have like, I think like an hour and a half till I get home. And then I have to work tomorrow. So I'm going to be filling it. So there's a cop that keeps circling around. So I need to go. Anyways, it was a really good night. Hopefully if I think about anything else, I'll remember at the next check-in to tell you guys. Besides that, I'm loving the writing of the book. I'll probably listen to some of it on the way home if I can get my migraine to like settle down. And yeah, check in with you guys soon.
Hello, you guys. It's been a minute since I've left you. I have pink hair now. And I finished Japanese Gothic, but I never had the time to sit down and talk to you guys until now. I'm behind on a couple of vlogs where I need to like check in and talk about the books that I read at the end of April, because it's just been a really, really busy time. I am filming multiple vlogs right now, so yeah, it's gonna kind of be all over the place. But yeah, I want to check in. Let's talk about Japanese Gothic really quick. This book was beautiful. I am gonna go ahead and put my slip cover back on while I talk about it, but yeah, just such a stunning copy of this from Aardvark. But the majority of reading this was with the audiobook, and I really enjoyed it. I feel like the narrator did an incredible job. It continued to go back and forth between Sen and Lee, yeah. And it was really just, it continued to stay like very heartbreaking, pulling at the heartstrings. You really feel for Sin a lot. Lee is just kind of a weirdo and continued throughout, but I loved how much the folklore parts and both of their stories intertwined by the end. I felt like the story just pulled together and was just so entertaining and fascinating. I did see that some people were saying that this felt a little YA, and I can understand that. I can kind of see that, but still, I'm somebody who I don't typically go for YA, but I really, really enjoyed this. I think maybe it felt a little bit more YA because she's used to writing more YA fantasy. She just kind of leveled it up a little bit with the guts and gore, which I appreciated. Those descriptions, all of the gory and bloody descriptions, oh my gosh, phenomenal. She really did that. Like, I've been wanting to dive more into like samurai stories. She did that. It was so good. But maybe like people feel that way a little bit more because Lee and Sin aren't like a romantic type of situation too. So it takes out that level of adult. But I kind of appreciated the like, all like sort of like friendship acquaintances, if you will, going on in this. I felt like it was kind of a weird dynamic, but still it worked. And there was just so many interesting parts of this, and it was just such a good time. And I feel like while this ending might not work for everybody, it actually did work for me. I felt like there wasn't a whole lot that you could really do with this, and without giving away anything or being too spoilery, I sometimes feel like a book needs to have that type of ending to make a bigger impact or a bigger punch, if you will, to the story. I'm just gonna leave it at that. 5 stars, incredible. I cannot wait for her next ones. And I thought, this is horrible lighting, and I'm so sorry. I'm losing daylight. My blinds are still open, but I turned my lamp on, and then right after I started filming, the street light lamp or whatever came on, and it's shining through my house. It's always like a spotlight, but you can also see like the blinds on my face. I'm too lazy to get up right now. I'm like, I have like just a bit that I need to sit down and film. So anyways, it's decent lighting to be able to show you guys my books that I got and how she signed them. They're so cool. That one's obviously Japanese Gothic. And then, like I had mentioned, I took One Bad Night, and she signed her page. I had to kind of fight for it a little bit. There was a woman at the event that was like trying to get the title page to be signed, and I'm like, no, no, no. This is a short story collection. I really want her to sign her page. And they're like, oh, okay. So she did get to sign Lady Jawbone page. And then, of course, my copy of Bat Eater and Other Names for Korzing. She signed as well. And then while I was there, like I said, since I already had Japanese Gothic through Aardvark, I could have bought another copy, but I ended up getting a ticket to where you had like a money voucher that you could spend towards anything on the table. And that was really nice because I thought it could only go to Japanese Gothic, but they were like, no, you can use it on anything up here. And I had mentioned in this vlog that I wanted to try out some of her other fantasy. It is YA, it may not work for me, but I did see some really good reviews on Goodreads. Actually, one was from Jan Agaton here on YouTube, love her. She had said something about how these were like some of the best YA fantasy, and she loved like the characters, and I want to say she even said something about the world building. She did like one of them. I think she liked The Keeper of Night better than this one. Anyways, I grabbed book 1 out of both of her YA fantasy duologies. So I hope I like them, but I decided to just stick with book 1 for both of them so I could try both and see like if I want to continue, finish out the duology, and you know, yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna be starting one of these next. We have the Scarlet Alchemist and the Keeper of Night. This one with like the samurai sword, it's kind of calling out to me, like I really want to pick it up. Oh, she did sign these as well. There's the Keeper of Night. This one was her 2021. And then the Scarlet Alchemist was her 2023. I think I'm actually going to start The Keeper of Night because I believe this was her debut. And yeah, I'm really excited to try out some of her YA. But yeah, that's the check-in. It's been a crazy end of my month. So I'm currently like going through it. So I don't know when I'll check in next, but it's been really good. It's just been very chaotic and all over the place. And when my life gets that way, my mental suffers from it. So I'm really going through it right now and trying to like hold it together. And it's also like, I just know like the upcoming weeks, it's not going to slow down. I have a lot more things planned that I have to do. And it's like end of the year school things with my boys. And there's just so much going on. So I swear this is always like the busiest time of the year. And my baby, my youngest, he's about to turn 10. And I'm emotional about that. It's been one thing after another. So I'm just like, bear with me, you guys. I might be a little bit of a hot mess and just scattered a lot in my vlogs, and I apologize.
If you couldn't tell nothing by the look on my face, making pictures don't belong in DMs. I've been trying to find out who the fuck I am. Pull me in, need a really tight pinch. Push away all my really close friends. Kick into the curb, no sentimental what up. If you come by my house, could it really hurt us? Till the lights on my laptop burn up.
Okay, do not mind the mess behind me, but I was looking at footage for this video and I've sat this video down for quite a while, but I never came back on and told you guys about The Keeper of Night. This is the Kylie Lee Baker that I decided to pick up next. And I feel like after I finish this, it was good. I really liked it. We'll talk about it. But after I finished it, I was kind of just left with this like unsettling feeling of not knowing how to close out this vlog. So we're gonna tackle that too. So this is the one where she's a half Reaper, half Shinigami soul collector. Her name is Ren. She has been collecting souls in the London streets for centuries, expected to obey the harsh hierarchy of the Reapers who despise her. She conceals her emotions and avoids her tormentors as best as she can. When her failure to control her developing Shinigami abilities drives Ren out of London, she flees to Japan to seek the acceptance she's never gotten from her fellow Reapers. Accompanied by her younger brother, the only being on Earth to care for her, Ren enters Yomi, the Japanese underworld, to serve the goddess of death, only to learn that here too she must prove herself worthy. Determined to earn respect, she accepts an impossible task: find and eliminate 3 dangerous yokai demons, and learns how far she'll go to claim her peace at death's side. This was so fun, and I know I left you guys off like talking about how like I want more like ninja, I want more samurai, that type of vibe, and this definitely delivers. It is so well written, especially for YA. It really kept my attention. I think that there was only a part in, I feel like the build-up was a little bit slower for me, and I did really well with it until a certain point, and then I was like, okay, we gotta do something. But I feel like by the halfway mark, it was like smooth sailing, and I was really invested. Sure, I think that the story could be a little bit stronger, but again, for a YA, it's really good. What I really liked about this, though, was the characters. The characters are so much fun. We follow Rin and her brother. I can't remember her brother's name, though. There's also another character who we meet in this that kind of, her brother's name is Nevin. We also meet another character who I adore, and he is not mentioned in the synopsis. So I am a little confused on how to go about this or talk about it, because I don't personally think it's a spoiler to at least mention him. But his part in the story definitely is a tricky one to navigate with spoilers, so I at the same time can understand, but there is a bond there that is very special, and I I think it's a big developing part of Ren's character, and maybe that is also why they didn't want it in here. But I had a lot of fun with this. I feel at its core, it's about acceptance. It's about wanting to be seen. Also, like, wanting to prove yourself. I feel like there's a lot of really good messages here, especially for a young adult. It was a lot of fun, and I loved where the story went. I definitely feel like in true like fantasy writing, there was like this shock to it that kind of leaves you hanging like, oh my god, like what's gonna happen next? And that's where I'm a little stuck. Hopefully that was somewhat of a good review. I feel like I'm kind of all over the place. The buildup is really just her leaving and going and talking to the goddess of death and wanting to prove who she is, and like, is she actually a Shinigami or is she a Reaper? And then the rest of it is just the journey with her, her brother, and a friend who are helping her along the way, and also kind of being like her voice of reason when she needs it, and kicking her in the ass when she needs it. But ultimately she is taking down these yokai demons and for like approval and acceptance. And obviously a lot goes into that and the outcome of everything. But I enjoyed my time with it. I think I am landing at 4 stars with this one. I don't think I enjoy this as much as I do her adult novels, obviously, but I feel like that's a given with me because I don't usually do well with YA, but for this being YA, it really did work for me in a lot of ways. But that is where I'm stumped, because as you guys know from earlier in the video, when I went to the author event, I picked up the first 2 books of both of her YA series. So like, I picked up the first book in each series. Like, I didn't pick up the second book in either one of the series because I was like, I could just like taste test them both. And like, the idea of it is fun, but at the same time, I feel like while they're different stories, I feel like in my head, they might start intertwining, and then it's gonna be really awkward and weird for me to pick up the next one in the series in the future. I don't know. I've had a little bit of a hard time with it. I feel like I'm still trying to figure it out. Hopefully I do this week so I can figure out what I'm reading next. I don't know if I should just go ahead and start the next one, because what if I love that series more than I love this one? But also I'm like, I kind of want to pick up the Empress of Time, the second book in this series, because I want to know what happens next. I don't know. I'm either going to pick up the next one, or I am going to go start the other series, and then I will just put the second book from each of these series maybe in like my TBR jar, because I want to get back into that sometime soon, where I do either mood reading or just random videos where I will pull from the TBR jar. I think that would be a good idea, and then I'll just have to like come back and like refresh my memory on what happened in each series. Anyways, that's where I'm currently at with this video. I am in fact back after some more time, and it is kind of early this morning, so don't mind my appearance or my voice. I wanted to check in though because it will be another video finished, and that would just make my own personal OCD list like so much better if I'm actually like getting these done. And since I finished another book, like, it has to be done. I did in fact read the next first book in a YA series from Kylie Baker. So I've read Japanese Gothic, her new adult horror, and then I read Keeper of Night, which was the first book of her first YA series. This is the first book, Scarlet Alchemist, of her second YA series. I did space them out. It's been a minute since I've seen you guys again because I wanted to space them out a little bit throughout my month so that they weren't too repetitive or back to back to where I would forget things. I definitely would have. What I've noticed between the 2 YA series is that the characters are somewhat very similar. With that being said, I do really love her characters, especially her main female characters, because they are just very bold, adventurous, brave, and I feel like this is supposed to be in a time where women were told what to do, and I feel like we have females in male roles, which I absolutely love. And while this wasn't really like the same as Keeper of Night, because that's a Shimigami, and like that was kind of what I was going for, of wanting more of that action. I feel like this one was more so like about magic and power. She is an alchemist who can do a lot of things with just a pile of stones in her hand, and that is so cool to me. I think I actually enjoyed this series a little bit more just because I was so like into all of the alchemy stuff. I feel like the same vibe though. So we follow Zillan, and she dreams of becoming a royal alchemist, of providing for her family by making alchemical gold and gems for the wealthy to eat in order to stay young forever. So although she can use these gems or stones or whatever to as like powers to defend herself or to heal herself, take care of herself, you can also make really good ones for the wealthy or royal to stay young and youthful forever. But for now, she's trapped in her impoverished village in southern China, practicing an illegal form of alchemy to keep food on the table, resurrecting the dead for a price. When Zillan finally has the chance to complete her imperial exams, she ventures to the capital to compete against the best alchemists in the country in tasks she'll be lucky to survive, let alone pass. On top of that, her reputation for raising the dead has followed her, and the crown prince himself seeks out her help, suspecting a coming assassination attempt. So he comes to her and she keeps like getting to the point where she's like, why are you talking to me? Like, you are royal, why are you talking to me? And she's feeling like some type of like romantic vibe with him too. And we do get romance in this, not like spicy because it is YA, but you do get like a very heartfelt romance in this. But before that, she is pretending. So it's like fake dating and like a historical fiction that's like about magic and alchemy. Say less. The more Zillan succeeds in her alchemy, the more she gets caught in the dangerous political games of the royal family. There are monsters lurking within the palace walls, and it's only a matter of time before they and secrets of Zillan's past catch up with her. And like a true YA fantasy, I feel like the buildup is kind of the same. I think it works for me with this because I just really enjoy Kylie Lee Baker's writing and characters so much. And I love, although she makes it very, very clear that like nothing is completely accurate. At the same time, there is a historical note in the back where she talks about what she did take from Chinese culture from the past and what she did put into it, or what she played on, or what was inspired by it, that type of ordeal. And I love that. I eat that up. Another great time. I feel like there's not much more to say about it just because I feel like all of the conflicts and different things like that can be easily spoiled. Just know you're going into it with the YA fantasy formula, you know? I am landing at 4 stars with this one as well. It's not a perfect 5 for me. I don't think YA fantasy ever will be, but I've had a really great time with hers. I would pick up both of the second books in both of these duologies at some point. I'll have to come back here to this video and remind myself which one was which. But I definitely want to put them in my future like TBR jar that I can just randomly draw from, because I think that will be good times to just continue series or finish duologies and such. But like I was mentioning at the book thing, she did mention that this next year, not only in the spring does she have a new adult horror coming out, but she also is writing another YA fantasy series. So it's going to be like book 1. So I'm really excited about that. I will definitely be picking them both up. I really can't wait for her horror. More than anything, I'm just excited to wrap this video up for you guys, and please let me know what you think. Have you guys read any books from her? Maybe you've even read Bat Eater, in other words for Korzing. If you haven't read anything from her, I would highly recommend her work. She is very talented, and there's something different about picking up a Kylie Baker book, and I'm so glad that she ventured into adult horror too, which is my favorite because it just really works for me, and I don't think I would have found her other work or have picked this up and read it if it wasn't for her adult horror. So yeah. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching today. I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in my next one.